Welcome back to the Cricket Today podcast on Friday, February 2. Still buzzing from an amazing week of cricket and an awesome weekend ahead. Also buzzing from all of our new subscribers. Absolutely loving the traction we're getting on YouTube. So thank you to all of our new subscribers. Get around us in the comments. We're seeing a lot of comments. We'll start replying to some of those. Ask us any questions, any cricket-related questions, any other questions actually. Any question you want really in the YouTube comments, we'll answer either on the show or in the comments. So yeah, please ask us some questions and we'd love to answer anything to do with cricket or anything else you really want to talk about. We're happy to have a bit of a laugh on this podcast. I'm your host. Let's get into it. Leo McAllion, also known as the Stats Guy. I'm here with Marcus Bazzano, up and about for a huge weekend of cricket. How you going, Marcus?
I'm going good. I reckon even if you want to chuck in a comment about how Stats Guy having 6 toes affects his life, then go ahead.
I don't know where this narrative started yesterday on the Football Today socials. That was very weird. We're also here with Leo Mullaly. You're going to show me a bit more respect, I hope. How you going, Leo?
Yeah, good. Thanks, Stats Boy. Yeah, it's classic Marcus to just chuck in a weird reference 5 seconds into the podcast.
If you're in the comments on YouTube or wherever you are on any of the socials, just get into Marcus, I reckon. Today we're going to cover a huge breakdown of the Allan Border Medal night, which was the other night. So plenty of awards that went around there with the Belinda Clark Medal for the women's as well. Then some controversial award winners. I was pretty surprised. The voting works a little bit differently just than the stats, but I was pretty surprised at that. I'm going to go through some nahs for the upcoming white ball matches. Australia versus the West Indies at the MCG today, which Marcus and I are going to head to. So check out later today. We're going to chuck up some socials for that. So we're going to do a huge preview for that. Especially, it's going to be a really good match, I think, especially after the West Indies just beat Australia in the test. So let's get right into it, lads. The Allan Border Medal night had lots of different awards for the men's and women's. Could you quickly go through them, Leo, and then we'll have a bit of a discussion. Bit of an outrage, I reckon, on a few of them, but we'll see how we go.
Sure thing. So Allan Border Medal was won by Mitch Marsh. Just an amazing year by him. The Belinda Clark Award was Ash Gardner. She took that home. Elyse Perry took home both the ODI and T20 Player of the Year. And then for the men's, Nathan Lyon won the Test Player of the Year. Behrendorff won the T20 Player of the Year. Bancroft with the Domestic Player of the Year, and Fergus O'Neill with the Bradman Young Cricketer of the Year award. Anything surprise you, gents?
One thing that doesn't surprise me is just Elyse Perry walking out with at least an award in each arm because she's an absolute weapon. That's awesome that she's just keeps winning awards, and she's been doing it for, I don't know, at least 10 or 12 years now, so that's awesome. Ash Gardner as well. I think she got 52 wickets in a calendar year. I know they play a lot of matches, but that's awesome, especially for a spinner, so get around her. I don't know. I'm a bit iffy about that Test player. I don't know about you, Marcus. Nathan Lyon wouldn't have even been in my top 2 or 3, I'd say. That's a weird one.
Yeah, for sure. I think I was going to mention men's Test Player of the Year going to Nathan Lyon, considering he did miss a big chunk of that through injury, obviously, throughout the Ashes. But I'm thinking you can put up players like the ICC men's Test Player of the Year, Usman Khawaja, who was the only player to score over 1,000 runs in the calendar year. I'm also looking at Pat Cummins. He's won the game not only with both bat and ball, the amount of 5s he took last year, and obviously with the bat against England in that first test at Headingley. I think it was Headingley. Won us the game. So I'm probably looking towards those 2 players, but it was good to see Mitch Marsh win the Allan Border Medal. He won it by a landslide as well, didn't he? Like almost 100 votes or something. Yeah. Which was surprising he won by that much. But you know what? It's good for him. The storyline of how every Australian hated him 3-4 years ago and now everyone loves him.
The comeback of the Bison has been absolutely awesome. I'm so happy for him. I think he averaged, it was 47 in the one days and then 60. Sorry, that might have been in Test. And then around that 50 marker over in all 3 formats. So he was absolutely awesome, Mitch Marsh. Amazing comeback from a guy that couldn't even get in the team, 32 years old now, and he's still dominating. So I'm very happy with Mitch Marsh. Had a really good speech as well. He's a very laid-back guy, talking about his the beers. He said he had a bit of a beer gut or something like that. I don't know about that. He's got a pretty good rig, I reckon. I think he's doing all right for himself. So that was pretty funny. But yeah, I agree with the Test Player of the Year. I can't believe Nathan Lyon got it. Not that he had a bad season, but as you said, he missed a lot of games. And for his high standards, he wasn't getting as many wickets as the previous year. So that was a bit of a weird one. And I need to probably look into how they do these votes a bit more. It's more of a yearly vote all the way through sort of thing, not just off stats and things like that. I get that. But the way that this was voted is a bit strange.
Is there a bit of love for like Nathan Lyon where he took 300, didn't he?
Yeah, true.
Is there a bit of love for that, or I don't know? But I want to pose you a question, guys. We're talking about Mitch Marsh. I'd say I'd love to go out on a night out with Mitch Marsh. I reckon it'd just be a great time. Who from the Australian team would you love to go on a night out with?
Travis
Leo
Head.
went straight in there. Oh my god! Well, Travis said after the ODI World Cup. Leo, is that who you going with?
Yeah, I think that's an easy answer. All you need to do is look at that one photo of him where he's absolutely just gone and he's just still having a good time. It'd be great value.
On something more than beers, I reckon he was.
Maybe. I don't know. He loves a beer though. I remember seeing that him in a few of my mates saw him in Adelaide at the Woolshed, and he was tearing it up. But I'd go anyone in the team but Marnus or Smithy. They would be the most boring people. They just want to play. Oh, did you see my cover drive? Or did they just be playing cricket shots in the middle of the club or in the middle of the bar?
Marnus will whip out the Bible.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what's going on with those two, but I don't think those two would be too fun on a night out. But definitely Travis Head. I'm trying to think of anyone else in the. I feel like Jake Fraser McGurk as well. I know he hasn't played yet, but once he plays, he could be on that list as well. He looks like it. Actually, Maxi as well, but you might get injured because every time he has a good night, he gets injured. So I don't. That's a good question, actually, Mark. That's my favorite. Yeah, no, I reckon we've had. You went a bit off the rails there, but we reckon we did all right. Is there anyone else from the Allan Border Medal night that you wanted to talk about, Leo? Your man Cam Bancroft actually getting Domestic Player of the Year, but then not getting picked for Australia. It's pretty stiff.
Yeah, very stiff, very, very stiff. Happy with Fergus O'Neill getting rewarded with Bradman Young Cricketer of the Year. Yeah. And then just Berendorf as well. I just thought he was a bit surprising. I thought maybe Zampa or Maxi or I don't know would have got it, but yeah, Berendorf has been okay.
He has been all right. I think we looked at some of his stats. He had around a 6 economy rate, so that's really good, obviously, in T20s. But he only got, I think it was 8 wickets in the 5 matches. That's a bit of a weird one. I need to look into it a bit more of how they choose these awards, but I feel like some of them are a little bit off. So we'll have to think about that. And definitely for our Test Player of the Year, I'm going with Uzi Khawaja. I think he was the well-deserved one, and he got the ICC one as well. So pretty good night. Happy for Mitch Marsh. Happy for Ash Gardner. The rest can. A bit iffy. I'm not sure. We'll have to have another think about that. Let's get into the white ball matches. We've got Australia versus the West Indies playing in the ODI at the MCG today. I got a bit of a nah for you lads. We've got the T20 World Cup in America and the West Indies coming up later in the year. So obviously the T20 matches are pretty important to stabilise the side for that. There's no real major ODI tournament. Dan Cherney was talking about it in our show from Wednesday till next year. So there's no real reason to have to play the best team or things like that. We can test a few things out. Should all the new young guys, I think it could be 4 debutants in this squad, should they all be playing in these ODI matches? What do you guys reckon?
I'm gonna go yeah. I'm gonna go yeah. I think this is a good opportunity when we're away from major tournaments or bigger tournaments that we can give opportunities to young guys, because we've had a look at the Australian squad just generally features a lot of 30-plus-year-olds, especially in the Test matches. But even in this ODI squad, I think it's a good opportunity to hand the baton over, give a chance to Jake Fraser McGurk, who's been playing really well at domestic level for the this summer, and as well as the likes of obviously Xavier Bartley, who will most likely play. But I think Will Sutherland as well was very stiff not to get a game, especially in his home state at the G. I think he was definitely deserved a gig. But I agree. I'll say yeah to that. I think they should all be playing. Just give them a go and see how they go. Give them international experience before we eventually, sort of throw them in the deep end a little bit later down in a couple of years.
Yeah, I get that. I think the teams haven't been officially announced as we're doing this podcast, but the rumor is that the 2 Renegades guys in Fraser McGurk and Sutherland aren't being picked, but we still don't know 100% yet. But it sounds like that's not the case. And hopefully maybe in the later ODIs they get a gig. What do you reckon, Leo, about those young guys sort of playing?
I'm going to disagree. I'm going to say nah on that one. I think Fraser McGurk should be. I think Bartlett should be, but I'm not so sure about Sutherland. I thought his Big Bash tournament kind of faded away a little bit. Probably wasn't in the best of form by the time it ended. And I think someone we say the young guys should be playing, but I think it's more about the next wave as well. Like guys like Spencer Johnson, who's not even in the squad, and he's not young. He's, I think, late 20s,
28,
I want to
28.
say. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's about, maybe playing someone like him who's, as I said, not in the squad. Someone like playing Hardy more. I know he's in the squad, in the team, but he's one that he's young. He's already had a taste of it. Play him more. So I think there's just those guys that are potentially ahead of Sutherland that maybe he should not necessarily be in this team. But I think the others I'm all for. Matt Short's another one who's not necessarily young, but we've got to have him in the team because, in my opinion, he's part of the next wave.
Yep. No, I don't mind that.
I think if you want to look at the entertainment value just generally of cricket and ODIs and the short format, I think particularly for like the younger generation and even the older generation, I think it becomes a little bit boring when you see the same names in there every single year. Yep. Which has sort of been the case a little bit for Australia, which isn't a bad thing because we've been winning everything. But I think in terms of like these standalone little series, I think, it'll be good to see some fresh faces in there. Yeah,
no, that's a good point. I know, like, in general, the selectors aren't going, I've got to pick him for entertainment. But if you want to, sort of grow the young guys and then also get some more fans back, I feel like playing guys like Fraser McGurk, the Rooster, and then maybe, Bartlett. I like a lot of these young guys coming in. But I don't mind what you said as well, Leo, about that new wave. Even though some of those guys like Short, Hardy, Spencer Johnson, even if he eventually comes in, even though they're a bit older, they can still be around for a while. The modern cricketers, as Cummins and a few other guys have shown, all of our bowlers have shown, can play well into their 30s. So still plenty of time for those guys to dominate for Australia. All right, as we're talking about the white ball matches, Australia's team, let's get into a West Indies versus Australia preview. We're going to be at the MCG today. Check us out. Come on the socials at Cricket Today AU and Cricket Today Pod, but also check us out front of the MCG. We'll be roaming around with a microphone if you want to annoy Marcus and I, or have a bit of a blind ranking or things like that. It would be good fun. The West Indies, I'm just going to go through some of the things they've done lately. They won an ODI against England and India in their last two series. They did lose those series, but still promising that they got a win over a few of those really good teams. And then the Aussies won this last ODI meeting series 2-1 against the West Indies. So they did get a game over us in that series, and I think they could again because they're not too bad. Definitely showed that in the test match. What do you guys reckon is going to happen in this one, and who's your man of the match? I'll start with Leo.
I think Australia win this one, but I think it'll be close. I think if we bat second, it'll be like a 3-wicket win, or if we bowl second, it'll be like a 30-run win. I think it'll be really close. Yep. And I think Trav Ball will bounce back from his absolute disaster class up in the Gabba, and he will open the batting and make a runnable century. That is my prediction.
Runnable century. I don't mind that. A bit of Trav Ball. Marcus is made on the night out. Marcus, who do you reckon's going to win this one? And a man of the match?
Well, obviously, I'm just going to back Australia for this one, although I'm very excited to see what the West Indies can produce today/tonight. So I'm interested in seeing that, although I think Australia will win. A bit like Leo, I think it'll be sort of a close-ish game. But my man of the match, I'm going to go a little bit different. I'm going to show as a bowler myself, I'm going to show the bowlers some love because you guys, we'll get to yours later, Stats Guy, but we got another batter in there. But I'm going to go Lance Morris. The Wild Thing, as he's known, obviously not the original Wild Thing. I think that'll be reserved for Sean Tate. Stats Guy loves Sean Tate.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I'm going to go Lance Morris. I just think the West Indies, they haven't really faced that sort of pace and that quality of pace, particularly in their own first-class cricket. So I think this could be a game where Lance Morris can sort of pick up 4 or 5 and be awarded man of the match.
Yeah, I really like that pick for Lance Morris. I think another thing Daniel Cherney was mentioning on our other podcast was how a lot of the West Indies in their local sort of their state cricket and things like that, in their first class cricket, I meant to say, they face a lot of spin over there because they have a lot of spinning wickets. So they're not too bad at facing spin. But guys like Lance Morris, they wouldn't face too many quicks like him, other than maybe Shamara and Alzari Joseph, as we've mentioned in the last week or so. But they wouldn't have even faced him that much either because he's only been around for a little bit. I'm going to go Australia. I agree with Leo. I think this could be really close. They're not too bad in the one days. If you went to the start of the summer and go where the West Indies could be the most competitive, I'd probably say in the ODIs. I think ODIs especially can be really close. I think Alzari Joseph, I know he didn't do too well. He was pretty solid. for the West Indies in the Test, but I think he could have a really good day today in the shorter format. Doesn't have to bowl as many overs, and can use a few more of his change-ups, so I don't mind him. But I'm going to go Matt Short as the man of the match. I feel like he's the best white ball player for Australia at the moment, just in terms of domestic form. Obviously killing it for the strikers and for Victoria as well in first class. So I think he's going to make a ton off, I reckon, crazy strike rate of about 130 strike rate or something like that, 140 plus strike rate. I think he's going to absolutely tear it up. And it probably looks like I saw a picture of the pitch, looks like a really nice pitch, and I think he's going to tear it up. What do you guys reckon? Matt Short for a big one, or you're leaning towards Travis Head?
What are you saying there, boys? You're saying we're going to be none for 200 because both Travis Head and Matt Shaw are going to make run a ball centuries.
It's a separate prediction, Marcus. We're saying I'm tipping Head to make 100. He's tipping Short to make 100. Doesn't mean we're tipping the others to make 100.
I really don't think they're both going to make 100, but they could. I don't know.
Also, isn't Short going to bat at 7?
Yeah, Inglis also actually. Yeah, Short if
is he actually?
Well, that's what Dan Cherney said in the likely 11.
I just saw an interview as well.
He'll bat at 7.
Inglis said in an interview. Sorry, Short said in an interview that Inglis is most likely opening, and Short said that he's going to be down in the order. I really don't like that. But so that's actually could change my man of the match prediction. I'll say he come in at the end and make a quick 80 or something like that. Maybe not 100 because I don't know if he's going to even get a bat at number 7. But that's ridiculous if he does bat at 7. But we'll have to wait and see. Well, the teams will come out probably after we do this podcast or a bit later this afternoon. So we'll do some social posts about that, I reckon, as well. All right, that's it for the Cricket Today show, lads. Check us out on all the socials. We're going to be doing some stuff at the MCG, as I mentioned, Marcus and I, with some fun interviews and things like that. We'll be back with this on Monday for a huge wrap-up of the weekend of the white ball series between Australia and the West Indies. There's probably some other matches around the world going on as well. So check out the socials ahead of that. You can get right around the show. Subscribe on your podcast apps, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, etc. Like and review it, would you? Chuck a follow to Cricket Today and Cricket Today AU all over the socials. That's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and X. All of those socials as well for Football Today and Football Today AU, or Football Today Pod. Actually, did another podcast for the EPL. There were some awesome results this morning. Man U, all the Man U fans are pretty happy this morning. They got back on the winners table, which is a bit rare for them. Send in any questions, as I mentioned at the start of the show. We'll answer some of your questions on the podcast and things like that via the socials. Oh, Marcus is shaking his head.
I'm shaking my head because Wolves have scored 2 goals in the last 10 minutes of the game.
Oh, my God.
I've got another update for you. It's 4-3. So Man United have scored a minute later.
Oh, my God.
Crazy scenes.
Did I just spoil it for you, Marcus?
Oh, you have? I haven't got that update yet.
Oh, my God. Wow. I was right then. I didn't even have to get corrected. That man, you're probably going to win from there. I knew they were going to score a last minute winner. But yeah, send in any questions, as I mentioned in the YouTube comments. We'll reply on there, or we can even answer some questions on the podcast, which we love to do. Thank you very much, Marcus.
Yeah, cheers, Stats Guy.
Don't get any trouble with Travis Head. Thank you very much, Leo.
Cheers, Stats Guy.
Thanks, Jared, for producing. Thanks to me. That's another episode of Cricket Today done. We're out.